Like many over the holiday season, I binge watched all the Harry Potter movies, and of course, on January 1st, we had the amazing treat of 20 years of Harry Potter, the anniversary special on HBO. And if you're like me, it had you feeling all the feels and reminiscing more than anything, not just on the stories and how it shaped my life and the friendships I've made, but also the adventures I've had. Specifically in this video, I'm going to be talking about 10 things that we did right and wrong when we visited Universal Studios down in Florida. We saw the world of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley, and Hogsmeade, and I'm going to share those tips with you so that way you can optimize your visit. And these tips don't just apply to the world of Harry Potter, any park that you want to go visit. So stay tuned. We're going to start out with a couple things that we did really right. The very first thing that we did right, and one of the biggest things I would say that we did right, is when we went. This is kind of a 2-for-1. So when we went was the very first week in November, and we went Monday to Thursday. So we were able to go when there was almost no one there. Now, some of the posters from the Halloween events were still up, but because we were there just to experience it, we didn't necessarily need to see the Halloween stuff. We didn't have our hearts set on seeing the Christmas stuff. We were able to just go when it was as dead as possible, and let me tell you, it was well worth it. The lines, if you can pull this off, are ridiculously short. I remember we passed by a sign and it said about 40-minute wait from here. 15 minutes we were there. So the waits were cut in half or less even a lot of the time. So you're able to really just go on those rides over and over and over again. And that leads me actually into the first thing I think I did wrong. The first thing I think I did wrong was I didn't take advantage of the fact that there weren't that many people there on the very first day. Specifically, when waiting in the lines for the rides, especially the Hogwarts ride, the line is actually really amazing. You're walking by some props and these sets, if you will, that are just beautiful and so intricate. There's the Sorting Hat that's talking, some of the pictures are actually moving, and even just the space that you're in, the walls that you're passing and everything else is just so beautiful. You're so immersed in it. And I wish on that first day I had realized what a treat that was and had actually spent more time just looking at stuff while going in line and just letting people go by me. I think that that would have been a lot more special, and that's definitely one of the things, looking back, I really wish I would have done, was just appreciate how dead it was and have taken advantage of that more. And a little bit on that note of taking advantage of when things were dead, something I did right was actually the second day, I believe it was, I spent the whole day with the interactive wand. Partially why I did this is because I was actually borrowing a friend's interactive wand and I did not want to damage it or lose it at all. So I only spent one day with it. But this turned out to be really great because the thing is, if you have the interactive wand and you definitely designate one day for it, that day before you can find out where all the spots are, and then on the second day you can hit them all. and it becomes a bit of an adventure. You're on a bit of a quest, if you will, because you're looking for all of those things. And then too, because it's still very dead, this was a Tuesday, not a whole lot of people were waiting in line then. You know, I didn't have to wait behind a bunch of kids or have kids behind me and be like, oh no, the adult wants to go now, you know, just such a Hufflepuff thing to say. But it was really nice to be able to not contribute to those lines. Later, I was able to just do my thing and enjoy it without a bunch of people just behind me, you know, tapping their foot or looking at their watches. And that was really, really great. And then the other thing too, of course, is then I didn't have to worry about where am I going to stash this when I go on the rides. I didn't have to worry about having a proper wand holster or sticking it in the lockers or anything like that. So by having a day, even like a full morning or a full afternoon, just with the interactive one, I was able to enjoy it a lot more. Speaking of those lockers, something I do wish I had done differently is simply waited to do my shopping until the end of the day. Get all my shopping done at the end of the day, right before I go home. Because if you are shopping when you first get there, if it's not something you're going to be wearing, it's something that then you have to stow somewhere while you're on the ride. So you're either having someone stay with your stuff or you have to pay for a locker. So they're not going to run out of stuff. Those places are well stocked. You're going to be fine, especially if you're going when they're a little bit dead. You're going to be able to get everything you need at the end of the day. So I would definitely suggest save your shopping for the end of the day, or at the very least, do your shopping when you know when you're done and you've gotten everything, you're going to be able to go home after for a little bit. So even if, you know, you're going to do your shopping at like 10, 11 a.m., if you know you're going to go back to your hotel or wherever you're staying for lunch, that works out so much better because then you're not hauling that stuff around the whole time. This is something I said you're going to get advice about things that apply to all parks. And this is something, if you don't walk away with any other advice, go home with this. Take a day, hopefully the hottest day if you can, just because you're going to enjoy it even more. Take one day to do all the water rides. So we had the Cross Park Pass, which I definitely recommend. And that meant we were able to do all the water rides in the entire park in one day. So what this meant is we weren't going from a water ride and then really trying to dry ourselves off as much as we could so we could enjoy a regular roller coaster, but you know, and then getting chilled and just, oh man. And then you're leaving a wet seat for the next person, and while you're on the ride, you're so cold from the wind rushing past. And if you have a day to do all the water rides, you don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about the time constraints. You're not worrying about like, oh, I'm taking 10 minutes just to dry off, because who cares? You're gonna get soaked on the next ride. You don't have to get dried off. So go, if you can. Like I said, we happened to pick a day where it was really, really hot, and we're like, you know what? Let's do all the water rides today. And it's definitely something I'm gonna do in all of my park visits in the future, is designate a day, a afternoon, something like that, just to the water rides. Do it. So something we did or didn't do is we didn't look at the schedule of events very much before we went. I basically flicked through and I was too excited to really register just how many events, how much stuff they have going on. So for instance, the light show on the castle, I never saw. I don't even know if that was a thing then, or if I just didn't know about it, or I don't know. So know what events are happening where and when before you go, and bookmark, write down, what have you, which ones you definitely want to see. Because I definitely would have come back at night specifically to see those night shows if I had realized that that was a thing. So check those things out. Make sure, you know, the performances you really want to see, you know, if you really want to see the Toads singing, if you really want to see some of the song and dance numbers that they have, mark those down and know when they are, so that way you don't miss them and you don't, you know, leave and come home and then find out about them and go, dang nabbit, I wish I would have. Something I just mentioned a little bit ago, and something we definitely did right, was the Cross Park Pass. If you're doing Harry Potter, you're gonna want to go on that train ride. It is magical. Oh my god. Seeing that train come into the station is so much fun. It's a great way to start. And if you have, your first, if you get there early and you go straight to the platform, you can then go to, either Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley, whatever you prefer, and actually arrive via the train if you want to. It's great fun. And it's not just like a shuttle. It isn't just taking you from point A to point B. There are things that go on during the ride as well. So it is its own little ride. And you only are able to go on that ride if you get the Cross Park Pass. So absolutely, Harry Potter fans, get the Cross Park Pass. You want to be on that train. It's amazing. Something I didn't do as right as I could have, I'm gonna count this as something I did wrong, is I didn't take advantage of being able to do the good photo ops. So I was so excited to see all the things, so excited to go on all the rides. I didn't stop to take very many pictures. So for instance, when you go through the brick wall, that video where it looks like you're actually going through the brick wall, I didn't get a video of that. I don't have a picture of that, and I really wish I did. So that's something, make sure you're taking your photo ops, especially like day 1, day 2, if you're going on like a Monday, Tuesday when it's really dead. Definitely go and get as many of your photos as you can then, especially the ones that are very staged. Try to do them then. You'll thank yourself later. And lastly, something I'm so happy I did, something I definitely think I did right, was I got a proper photo book. So you can go to Shutterfly, I'm sure, and a bunch of other places, and I was able to get a proper hardback of, my favorite things. So all my favorite things, all my favorite events, the specific memories of certain things, because you're able to add words too. So, I was able to say like, the pumpkin juice was my immediate favorite. So I was able to leave that note for myself and that little memory. Being able to have like a full page for your favorite photos. It's a really, really great idea, I think. Take advantage of photo places like this that do hardcover books, because having a physical book that you can draw out is so much fun. So let me know what advice maybe surprised you, what things that you're going to do in the future. Let me know all about things that you've done in the past that you did wrong or right, and leave them down in the comments below. Those comments, likes, and subscribes are always wildly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. I do have my book Heaven Killer. It is officially done and formatted. I'm very excited. That is coming out spring later this year, so just a couple more months. So I'm very excited for that. And my book, Blood Fiercely Defended, is already out. You can read the first 3 chapters absolutely for free on my website. I'll leave those links down below, and you can buy a copy if you want to as well. So thank you so much for your support. More than anything, likes, comments, subscribes, and reviews, honest reviews on any platform you like, help small independent artists. So appreciated, and you are appreciated. Thank you so much if you stuck around this long, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.